Has a teacher's stupidity ever put your life in danger? I was taking my AP chemistry final when the intruder alert went off, and everyone immediately knew what to do. We'd practiced locking doors and hiding, but Mr. Crowley laughed at us. Someone's trying to get out of the exam. He locked our door from inside and pocketed the only key. Nobody leaves. If you stop writing, you get a 0, and you need this to pass. Jenna whispered we should hide, but Mr. Crowley slammed his desk hard. Keep writing. This is just a prank. The alarm kept going, and the principal came on the speaker, voice shaking. This is not a drill. Lock all doors now. Mr. Crowley rolled his eyes. They're really committed to this prank. Keep taking your test. 5 minutes passed, and we heard people running in the hallway above us. Teachers sprinting past our door. My hand was shaking so bad I couldn't hold my pencil steady. Then we heard a loud pop from somewhere in the building. Half the class ducked under their desks, but Mr. Crowley's face just twitched. That's the theater class working on their play. The girl next to me started crying quietly, and Mr. Crowley walked to her desk. Crying won't help your grade. If you can't handle pressure, maybe you're not ready for college. Her crying got worse, but she kept trying to write. We heard footsteps in our hallway, slow and deliberate. They stopped at our door and the handle turned hard. It was locked, but the whole handle shook as they tried forcing it. The handle rattled forever before footsteps moved on. Chris whispered we should barricade the door, but Mr. Crowley heard him. Anyone who moves gets expelled for disrupting a state exam. 2 more pops, louder and closer, maybe 3 rooms away, then screaming that made my blood run cold. A kid in our class started crying and said his sister was in that classroom. Mr. Crowley stood in front of him with arms crossed. Sit down, or your transcript goes straight in the trash. Through the frosted window, we saw shapes running past, all going the same direction away from something. Mr. Crowley saw it too, but turned his back to the door. Drama students taking this way too far. Jenna couldn't take it anymore and stood up to hide in the corner. Mr. Crowley rushed over and grabbed her arm hard enough to leave marks. You walk away from this test and I'll personally call every college you applied to and tell them exactly what kind of quitter you are. She tried pulling away, but he held tighter. Chris stood to help her and Mr. Crowley pointed at him. Sit down, or you're both expelled. The footsteps came back and slammed against our door once, testing if it would break. The whole frame shook and paint chips fell. Mr. Crowley finally let go of Jenna and stepped back from the door, but still stood between us and the corner where we were supposed to hide. Nobody move, or I fail the entire class. We heard doors slamming somewhere else and glass breaking in the distance. Mr. Crowley went back to his podium, gripping his red pen so tight his knuckles were white. 10 more minutes. Glass shattered in the room next to ours and Chris jumped up. I'm not dying for a chemistry test. He started pushing his desk against the door, and 3 kids immediately helped. Mr. Crowley screamed at them, spit flying from his mouth. Every single one of you is getting a 0. More glass breaking. Then another pop so loud it hurt our ears. Jenna ran to the back corner where we practiced hiding during drills. Everyone get over here now. 20 of us ran to the corner and Mr. Crowley tried blocking us, but we pushed past him. We crouched down low while 10 kids stayed at their desks, completely frozen in fear. Mr. Crowley stood at his podium shouting, "You're all failures! I'm calling every college tonight." Someone kicked our door so hard the desks we piled flew across the room. Another kick and the door cracked down the middle. We could see hallway through the split. Mr. Crowley's face went white and he backed against the far wall, finally silent. A third kick and the door bent inward, hanging by one hinge. We heard someone try pushing through, but the broken door was jammed at an angle. Footsteps ran away fast down the hall. Everything went quiet except the alarm. We stayed frozen forever. Nobody talked, nobody moved. Even Mr. Crowley just stood pressed against the wall, not saying anything about tests anymore. Then suddenly we heard shouting from far away, getting closer. "Police! Show your hands!" They were going room by room, and it took another 10 minutes to reach us. When they finally got to our door, they had to force it open from the jammed angle. They came in with guns drawn, and saw half of us hiding and half still at desks. One kid at his desk had fainted. Another had thrown up. 3 more were crying so hard they couldn't speak. The officer looked at Mr. Crowley. Why weren't these students in lockdown position? Everyone started talking at once. Mr. Crowley just kept saying they were taking their final exam. Police had been clearing the main building first. Mr. Crowley kept insisting it was senior prank day while they arrested him. The district pressed charges and he got 6 years.